Can I say something? I love me some therapy. I love me some spirituality. You guys know that I do. But shit's getting out of control. Listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm just a fellow mentally ill bitch. So maybe some of this is wrong. And I do think chronically online behavior factors into this. But I just feel like motherfuckers don't know how to talk to other motherfuckers anymore without sounding like fucking human resources, without using all these fucking therapy vocabulary terms, without using all these spirituality fucking vocabulary terms. I feel like there's no room for nuance. There's no critical thinking skills to be able to look at a situation and be like, this is what it is. Because I think that over the past few years, a bunch of traumatized people, especially like me, like armed ourselves with a lot of knowledge from like therapy and spirituality because we want to explain why we're chemically altered and we want to explain the behavior of the people that fucked us up. You know what? That's completely fucking fair. Like a bunch of us learned about narcissistic abuse. We learned about narcissists. We learned about, the behaviors and the characteristics of narcissists. I feel like every few months there's something that TikTok people just like cling onto as a new way of explaining things like attachment styles. Yes, knowledge is power and power can be used in shitty ways. Now I feel like motherfuckers are starting to overanalyze and over-explain everything. You have the people that are more inclined to believe and feel like everything is their fault and that everything is fucking internalized. And then there's the people that are more inclined to say and believe that it's never their fault, it's everybody else's fault. Both can be harmful to oneself and to others around them. And I feel like people either become paralyzed or manipulative. People that are more inclined to believe that everything is their fault, they'll be like, oh, I know this person did this thing to me, but maybe I reacted in this way because I have this attachment style, and maybe this is a trauma response, and this is my trauma talk. Okay, bitch, so what? They punched you in the fucking face for no reason. Someone can be like, I punched this person in the face, and that makes me such a terrible person, and maybe that's because my attachment style, and maybe it's a trauma response. Bitch, they were chasing you, or they hit you first. That was a valid reaction. And the people that think that everything is everyone else's fault, we're like, they're reacting to me in this way because that's just a reflection of what they're going through. They're unhealed. You punched them in the face. They'll be like, this person punched me in the face and that's a reflection of their fucking childhood trauma and blah, 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 and this and that. Yeah, because you punched them first. Either of those types of people can be the motherfuckers that go to therapy just to learn more vocabulary on how to excuse their behavior, to excuse them being a fucking pain to everybody around them. Not a way to identify the things that need to be tweaked, but a fucking excuse, a get out of jail free card. You got these people that are absolutely paralyzed with knowledge that they find it so fucking hard to make a fucking decision on their behalf that they fall into more harmful situations, more things that are harming them because they're paralyzed with information. Every fucking human interaction has to be broken down. It has to be, explained with these fucking terms, with this goddamn human resources language. I'm not gonna sit down with a motherfucker and be like, we need to talk about the boundaries that I've set that you have violated. And I understand that the explanation might be, like, hey, when you said that, I felt really fucking hurt. I would really appreciate if you didn't fucking say that again. I've been stuck in periods where I'm overanalyzing everything, just thinking about these terms, thinking that maybe there's something wrong with me to the point that I was afraid to like look in the mirror and be like, you look hot today, Nikki. You look amazing. Because I was afraid of being too full of myself. Just being terrified of people in general because I'm already hypervigilant. So I now have all these vocabulary terms that I need to keep in my mind and be looking out for. And so now I'm isolating myself from other people. I talked to my therapist about this and she was just like, you know what, listen, at the end of the day, you kind of just have to live life and you got to use your critical thinking skills. And maybe that's part of the problem because across the board, critical thinking skills have been at an all-time low. Some of the best people I know, I watch being paralyzed with this information. And they're just like, well, maybe it's something wrong with me. Maybe it's some internal work that I need to do. They're being an asshole to you. Some of the worst people that I have ever encountered have said some fucking outlandish shit to me and our other friends, but then turn around and be like, but you know what, I have to unpack that because it's because of my internalized this and my trauma response that and blah, 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 blah. I've been like, listen, I know you're going through a rough time, but I don't know who the fuck you think you are talking to motherfuckers like this. Recently had an encounter with an op. And this person is standing there, they're gaslighting me, they're telling me that things that happened never happened. And in my mind, I'm like, this person is a narcissist. I'm about to say this out loud. They're a narcissist and they're crossing my boundaries. Am I saying that? No. I'm like, you're playing in my fucking face. Get out of my face. I'm not fucking talking to you anymore. Just fucking have human interactions. Like, not every fucking human interaction needs Cornell notes. Kind of like martial arts, like in Taekwondo, we have specific patterns that we learn, specific blocks, specific strikes, kicks that we learn in a specific order, each pattern. These are meant to help us have muscle memory. But if some motherfucker walks up to me in the street, I'm not gonna be like, well, let me do pattern XYZ. I know, they're not gonna sit there and wait for you to set up for your fucking pattern. You need to fucking improvise that shit. Use your critical thinking skills. All the stuff we've learned over the past few years, all the things that have been made available to us in the past few years on therapy talk and stuff, it is absolutely valuable stuff. It is valuable stuff. Guys, at the end of the fucking day, you just gotta fucking live. You just gotta fucking live, and you just gotta go into situations and just look at shit for what it is and make the best decision that you can. You're not gonna be perfect. You're not gonna 100% avoid displaying toxic behavior, but you have to just do your fucking best. Please do not come into the comments being like, well, Nicki, just how do I know? How do I know? I don't know. That's the point. Use your noggin. So sorry, this is becoming a long video, but also to say that most therapy was not developed with people of color in mind and the specific situations that we find ourselves in that these little rules can't really help us with. A lot of spiritual practices, not all, were not really developed with women in mind either. People be spouting this divine masculine, divine feminine shit, and before you know it, they're in the alt-right because that aligns with a lot of alt-right ideals. Now you're back in an oppressive state. Fantastic. Like, please use your brain. Develop some problem-solving skills. Have just some fucking real interpersonal interactions. I'm at the point where if somebody starts talking to me like they're human resources, I'm gonna be like, I need you to stop right there, cut the bullshit, and be so fucking for real with me. Motherfucker, I'm from Houston. We don't fuck around. If you're gonna say something to me, you better say it with your whole fucking chest, okay? End of the day, you can take all the seminars and you can take all the classes, you can do all the therapy, you can do all the woo-woo shit, you can collect all of the magic rocks, but at the end of the fucking day, you're gonna just have to live. You're gonna have to be courageous enough to hold people accountable, and you're gonna have to be courageous enough to allow other people to hold you accountable when the moment is appropriate. Okay? Okay.